answers and perspective and a fetching tie. Republican Senator John McCain, chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee. You're looking fired up, Senator. Let's tick through the different issues before us on this Tuesday. First, do we know with any certainty whether or not the party will get behind Paul Ryan?
I don't know, Chris. I'm not familiar enough with what's going on in the House. Obviously, all of us I hope that they would get behind Paul Ryan. I think he's a great guy. He's a great image for the party nationally, and we'd like to see things get on track over there. But I don't know enough about what's going on, to tell you the truth.
Senator McCain has positive words for Paul Ryan, has to help. Can you say similar things about Donald Trump? Having heard him now talk about Afghanistan and other situations abroad, do you believe he is the right representative for your party, sir?
Well, he's, as you know, Senator Lindsey Graham is my candidate and will always be, because we're very close friends. I do not understand some of Mr. Trump's statements. For example, the way to settle the problem with Iraq and Syria is, quote, take away their oil. I'm not sure how that works. I think he owes the Republican voters an explanation of how he would address this continuing crisis in the Middle East, which continues to spiral downward due to a total lack of leadership and strategy by the President of the United States, an abject failure of the philosophy of leading from behind.
Has he said anything that impresses you? And if he were to become the nominee, would you support him?
I will support the nominee of the party. I think that obviously his commitment to leadership, his commitment to doing, to quote, make America great again. I'm not exactly sure, again, how you do that, but I know how to do it. But look, he has attracted the attention and at least the support of around a quarter of the Republican voters so far. I respect that. I'm still always behind my friend Lindsey Graham, who I think understands these challenges better than anybody. But I'll let the voters determine it.
The Benghazi testimony tomorrow for Hillary Clinton, do you believe it opens a new chapter of curiosity, or does it close the book on the situation?
I'm not sure, but I do know that I was in Tripoli with Chris Stevens. He told me at that time of his concerns about security. It's very obvious that Susan Rice absolutely gave false information to the American people, saying that it was a spontaneous demonstration. Secretary Clinton told the families when the bodies came back that she would get the people who made the quote full video. There's a lot of questions that are still unanswered.
So you believe that? You believe that there are things to account for that have not been to this point that are material to making America safer?
Well, as with any event that takes place, whether it be 9/11 or whatever it is where American lives are lost, we have to have a thorough and complete investigation. And if people misled the American people, as I believe they were, particularly about the nature of the attack, people don't bring rocket-propelled grenades and mortars to spontaneous demonstrations, then I think the American people deserve to know the answers, Chris.
You don't think that there's been enough time and money spent so far?
I don't think the answers have been provided. I mean, I understand that just last night a whole bunch of more emails were released by the State Department. I do not think we have all the information. I hope that this investigation will be completed, but I certainly don't have all the answers, because there are many things that happened that have not been accounted for, that brought about the tragic deaths of 4 brave Americans.
And so it continues. We'll all be watching tomorrow. Another interesting issue in terms of our national security, the president threatening a veto over the National Defense Authorization Act. What do you make of this situation?
First of all, what I make of it is the president is more worried about budgetary process and whether sequestration or these other arcane questions need to be answered, or Does he care about the welfare, the benefit, the ability of the men and women who are serving in the military to defend the country and receive the benefits and training that they need? If he vetoes this bill, he will veto all those things. This is an authorization bill. The fight with Congress is about money. There are appropriations bills. This is an authorization bill. And the President of the United States, if he does this, he will place his priorities about the budgetary process, which most Americans don't care much about, over the lives and benefit and welfare of the men who are serving in uniform in the military, and I think that's disgraceful.
Senator, the White House says the sticking point is not the process, but Guantanamo, and that the NDAA, as currently drafted, would prevent the closure of the base. Why can't you compromise on that issue?
I'd be glad to compromise that issue. They promised me that they would get a plan as to how to do that. The President did. His Secretary of Defense and Lisa Monaco came to my office and said they would give me a plan, and they haven't done it, and they haven't done it for 6 years. And by the way, the provisions in the bill are the same that there's been for 4 years in the same Defense Authorization Bill, the same provision that he signed the bill before. That is a straw man. What they're trying to do, Chris, is hold hostage the Defense Authorization Bill to force the Congress to raise non-defense spending. That's what this is all about. The only problem with that, they're holding the lives and welfare and benefit of the men and women who are serving in the military as hostages in this process.
Understood, but obviously I'm just asking the question to see if there's a compromise that can be made. I will go back to the White House with what you say is a straw man. You can bet on that.
But Chris, let me point out again, 6.5 years ago, I said, I want to close Guantanamo. You got to give us a plan.
And they haven't, you're saying?
They have never given us a plan. The Secretary of Defense and his chief staff person, Lisa Monaco, sat on a couch in my office and said, we'll get you a plan immediately.
We will go back to them.
They didn't tell me the truth.
Senator, we'll go back to them. I promise you that. I'll call your office with what their answer is, and then we'll go along with the reporting from there. I'll ask you something. Do you think it is deceptive for members of the GOP to say, hey, this debt ceiling, we can't just blindly go into it and authorize it because it's giving the government a, just a blank checkbook to just spend whatever they want? Isn't that misleading? Because what the debt ceiling is about is paying for what you already agreed to spend. Shouldn't they really get after the initial spending and not just the mechanism to pay for what they agreed to spend?
I agree with that assessment. The debt ceiling lifting is a result of failure to rein in spending. You said it exactly right.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Senator.
For a change.
Oh, you see? Now, I was going to say it was great to see you. I wasn't going to say anything about your football team in the eyes of the New York Jets because it's an ugly comparison for you right now, but you couldn't let it go on a nice note.
There you go.
Senator McCain, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
And I will come back to you about what the White House response is.
Thank you.